Good morning. My name is Alessio Bonti, and I am your lecturer for User-Centered Design for this trimester. Let's start an introduction to the topics and what is User-Centered Design. So, first of all, this is me. My name is Dr. Alessio Bonti, and I'm the Unit Chair and the Cloud Campus Coordinator. You can reach me by email, but you can also reach me on my WeChat ID. So, don't be shy. Please do add me. And for emails, I generally try to respond within 24 hours. If you contact me by WeChat, I'll probably answer in maybe a few minutes or maybe a few hours at the most. Practicals are compulsory, so please do take them, but you'll be here in class. This class is very much based on how much effort you put in, and it's really based on how creative and how interested you are in this topic. So please make sure that you do follow the class and go out and do your own research as well. It's going to be very hands-on. We're going to try to develop your critical thinking and your problem-solving capabilities. Some textbooks. You can go and read Designing the User Interface, which is a nice book, but there are plenty of books out there which clearly explain or guide you through the design thinking process or the many processes for user-centered design. There's going to be 2 assignments and 1 project, and this will be released in the next lesson. What are the unit objectives and the structure? So you're going to be working in trying to develop your creative abilities, and this was based, if you have done creative technologies before, it's an advancement of that. And it's really about trying to get your design principles to develop multimedia products. It's about creating products and making people happy. You can imagine people as being your clients because that's what they will be in the future. Don't worry if you're not an expert. Nobody is an expert when we all started. I was not definitely a user-centric design person. I was a very process-based person, but I am now a fully certified designer. I have worked in IBM as a designer for 2 years. So I know a little bit, probably more than a little bit. So we're going to develop an understanding of how people react to interfaces, particularly in terms of perception, cognition, usability, visibility, and affordance. Basically, think about it. You look at an interface. What makes you tick? What do you like about it? And we're going to try and make you learn the rules and good practices. There is no certain science because this is based on people, and everything about people is subjective. It's not objective. But we can do things. There are strategies to better develop these practices. For example, if you have to place a button, are you going to place a button up in the right corner, or are you going to put it right down at the bottom? That is based on what that button is supposed to do, and historically what the users have known to do with those buttons. We're going to learn a few key principles involved with design and an ability to constructively evaluate interactive design interfaces. Basically, we're going to look at designs and we're going to try and build on top of them continuously. How do we apply design process to the interaction of design? And these are the final learning outcomes. At the successful completion of these units, students should be able to articulate knowledge of interface design and illustrate concerns for applications in a variety of interactive media systems, develop an awareness of good practice interface design through analysis of design guidelines and principles, evaluate usability using design guidelines and principles to propose design solutions, work as a group to create an interactive media system prototype to use on a variety of devices. We're going to have 2 assignments, each with different emphasis. This assessment is focused on your creative skills, and the project will assess your knowledge and understanding of this principle and concepts. The key to success is to work consistently, and it's really about you putting your effort into it and sure that you actually do like this, because the best way to get a good understanding of user-centered design is about how do you make your client happy, not just to satisfy his requirement, but to actually make your client happy. Are you building the right application for him? Because the first rule is that the client is always wrong, or the client doesn't know what they want. So keep this in mind. If a client comes to you, it doesn't mean that you have to build what he wants, because that might be wrong. So you need to be able to drive him through the process and build what he really needs rather than what he wants. Topics. We're going to try and understand users, the design process, the interaction design, the interface design, and we're going to do design evaluation. Understanding users. Good designers have the ability to understand the intended users of a product. They understand what is that users want, not just what they want, and they can identify real needs of their clients. So this is a need versus want. Yes, clients do want things, but is it really something that they need? As designers, our job is to understand that. How should we design? Why the focus on users and the user experience? What steps are used to design interfaces? Good design is not only about making something look good, it is more importantly about making the product usable. How can the conversation between users and systems occur with ease? And this is, imagine that you have to build a system for the government. How do you make such a painful process be more simple, less pain for the user? Interface design. This topic defines what we mean by looking good. To look good, an interface needs to adopt the principles of good graphic design and exhibit harmony, balance, and simplicity. Now, these terms do change over the years. Right now, I believe we are in the less is more kind of era. But if you had looked maybe 10 years ago, we had a lot more on our web interfaces. So everything is changing. We're trying to simplify things because now we have too many things for our viewers. So we are trying to move towards these more simplistic designs with less clutter, less things to look at. Good designers will evaluate their work constantly. 2 primary methods are used to accomplish this: the heuristic evaluation or a user evaluation. What is user-centered design? This is the main topics that we're going to look at. These topics lead our investigation into the user-centered design, and this is a process. The UCD, or the user-centered design as we're going to call it from now on, requires designers and developers to understand the problem, the users, the prototype, and work on solutions and evaluate. This is an iterative process. So what does that mean? We analyze the problem, or we analyze what the client wants. We design something for the client, we evaluate, and then we implement it. And then we reevaluate again, and then we go and redesign again, and then we reevaluate, and then we implement it again. So we have this continuous circle until we get the perfect solution, or until resources run out, which is very possible. So this is the first lesson, and I'll see you in the next class. Bye.